Hello out there, it's another Wednesday night, but I dare say a unique Wednesday night. All day and right across Nigeria, the mood is that of celebration and thanksgiving. I guess you know why. The abducted Dapchi schoolgirls are back. That's our take-off point today. We'll move from there to the contentious Africa Free Trade Area Agreement as the President briefs members of the Federal Executive Council on the issue at Wednesday's meeting. At the National Assembly, senators paid tribute to one of their own, late Senator Ali Wakili. Of course, there is much more on the show as usual. Politics build up to the 2019 elections, the usual peep into the business world. Well, we will leave out education, especially the ongoing. Yes, ongoing for JAM is not done yet. Well, that's about the lineup for a News Extra tonight. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the program. I am Fatima Abbas Hassan. Glad to have you join us tonight. Now we begin with the cherry news. The abducted girls of Government Girls Science and Technical College Dapchi in Yobe State have regained their freedom in the early hours of today after spending 31 days in captivity. The released girls, who were brought to the town by their captors, went straight to their respective homes before they were called back to the hospital for medical checkup. Hussein Mohammed was there and now reports.
This is the center of Dapchi town, and it is the point where the abductors brought the girls before they allowed them to go to their respective homes. And what they did was they gathered people here where they preached to them not to allow their girls to go to school again. After 1 month of grief, parents of the 110 abducted schoolgirls of Government Girls Science and Technical College Dapchi woke up in the early hours of today to once again reunite with their loved children. According to an eyewitness account, the abductors drove into the Dapchi town in a convoy of about 9 trucks, including the ones conveying the girls as early as 8 o'clock in the morning to hand over the girls to their parents. Though the girls were quickly returned to hospital after reaching home, but it was a hectic period for journalists as they were not allowed into the hospital to see the girls. But according to one of the released girls who narrated her ordeal, said they spent about 4 days in the bush before they could reach Dapchi town. She said they were well fed by the abductors, though some of them lost their lives before reaching their place of captivity. Some of the parents who spoke to NTA News thanked President Muhammadu Buhari for sticking to his words, saying the development has brought to a halt the trauma they were passing through since the abduction.
And the prayers of every Nigerian that's supporting this situation to be a true story has delivered a success to us. And we're very grateful for that bit.
In a related development, for the first time, parents of Chibok abducted girls have visited Dapchi town with the intention to sympathize, but later turned to be a rejoicing moment with their counterpart from Dapchi town. I'm joined by the chairman, parents of Chibok abducted school girls, and I want you to tell us what is your appeal to the federal government as regards to Chibok school girls.
As regards to the Chibok school girl, as we come and witness on our present this militant release and drop the Dapchi school girl, we know the present government is trying his best. He is more concerned the masses of this country.
Hussein Mohammed Isa, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Information and Culture Minister, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, says no ransom was paid and no swap deal was entered into for the release of the Dapchi schoolgirls. The minister stated this shortly on arrival in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, as the head of a federal government delegation on the release of the girls. The Minister of Information was in the company of the Minister of Interior, Abdurrahman Dambazau, and the Minister of State Foreign Affairs, Khadija Bukar Abba Ibrahim.
And one of the understandings was that while we negotiate towards total cessation of hostility, there will be no abductions. So for us, it was a moral issue. The government, led by its negotiators, reminded them of the agreement that there will be no abduction, that they've breached that agreement. That's why there was no swap, there was no money paid. Any other story to the contrary is false.
The Information and Culture Minister also gave details on how the girls were released and why the figure kept changing.
Said they were going to unconditionally return the girls themselves to rejoin their families. So when they came, they dropped one of the girls in Gaydam and dropped the rest in Dapchi. Now, when they dropped them in Dapchi, many of the girls went to their parents' houses. So it took this morning to call them together and get an accurate number of how many of them have been returned. If you remember, the first statement we issued, we said 76. But we said, as their developments, we'll let you know. Then they became 91, finally 101. As I speak to you now, I've been reliably informed that we have 105 girls and 1 boy.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed speaking on the released Dapchi schoolgirls. And the happy ending to the Dapchi schoolgirls abduction has no doubt taken many people by surprise. Pleasantly, though. Now, in this report, Lydia Sampson captures the development as it unfolded from when the girls were picked up in their school in Dapchi, Yobe State.
February 19, 2008 is a day that will go down in Nigeria's history as a day associated with sad news. This is because at 5:30 p.m., when one will ordinarily heave a sigh of relief that the day is fast spent, the news broke that 110 schoolgirls aged 11 to 19 years old were kidnapped by the Boko Haram terrorist group from the Government Girls Science Technical College, Dapchi, located in Yobe State. As the news took center stage in the social media and conventional media outfits, the federal government of Nigeria responded swiftly by deploying the Nigerian Air Force and other security agencies to search for the missing schoolgirls. The deployment of government delegation to Dapchi also underscores government's determination to get to the roots of the matter and bring back the girls.
We are doing everything humanly possible to try and see how we can add value to the effort that is going on.
The security agencies and the outfits are working together and they are synergizing to ensure that these girls are recovered as fast as possible.
President Muhammadu Buhari did not mince words in declaring the kidnapping as a national disaster. During his strategic visit to the community, he promised that genuine efforts are being intensified towards rescuing the abducted schoolgirls.
I have not left any stone unturned in making sure that the girls are rescued, while calling for calm, I implore affected parents and families to restrain from making statements that may jeopardize the success of the rescue mission. The government, under my watch, will continue to maintain normalcy and ensure that incidents of this nature are stopped. Be assured that measures are being put in place to achieve these objectives.
The women, led by wife of the president, Mrs. Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, added their voice to the call for the release of Dapchi girls.
It is a disturbing issue for which we must put our heads together, pray, speak out, show and share concern, and send goodwill to ensure that the situation will soon come to an end. Can you repeat after me 3 times? To please leave our daughters alone. Leave our daughters alone.
Nigerian women are achieving in the arts, in literature, in science, in education, all over. On the other hand, we see our girls taken away from home, from school. We see parents crying.
It is understandable, therefore, when the narrative changed and the news of the release of most of the girls again took center stage.
It's a thing of happiness. I think for quite some time now, this country hasn't experienced this kind of moment. The news broke early this morning, and as we expect, everyone, not least the presidency, had been under pressure for the release of the girls. So the fact that, yes, they are out, there is happiness on the part of everyone.
For prominent sons and daughters of Yobe, it is commendable that the girls have been released. They pray this will be the last of such harrowing experience Nigeria will ever have. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson.
And in his reaction to this pleasant development, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, has commended President Muhammadu Buhari on the release of the female students abducted from their school in Dapchi, Yobe State. A statement by his special advisor on media and public affairs, Tertiary Hassan, says as the president's effort has yielded result, proactive measures should be taken to prevent a recurrence. I'm now being joined in the studio by Femi Adesina, the special advisor to the president of media and publicity. We're glad to have you in the studio.
Thank you.
Now, what was the immediate reaction of government on the break, on the when the news broke that the girls have been released?
Well, naturally, delight.
I can imagine.
Relief.
Yeah.
Every good adjective you can use. But there was a lot of delight, a lot. And that mood pervaded the Federal Executive Council meeting that held today. There was a lot of delight and relief running through everybody.
Well, all is well that ends well.
Yes.
Now, the president dispatched a ministerial delegation to Dapchi. Now, what are we expecting?
Well, the Federal Executive Council meeting was about starting. Those three ministers are already taking their seats.
That's right.
When it was communicated to them that they needed to head to Dapchi, and they went. Therefore, Nigerians were able to get factual reports. Before they left, there were a lot of conjectures, a lot of half-truths, things you don't know whether to believe or not. But then those ministers going there afforded Nigeria the opportunity to know what was the authoritative story. And that's what we have had all day, starting from 78 to 91 to 104 to 106, they kept updating. And I think it was a very good one.
Well, the release of the girls, was secured in no distant time. How does this impact on government's efforts at fighting insurgency in the country?
Yes, you'll see that it said you must strike while the iron is hot. Right. And that is what has played out. The trail was not cold when government moved in. And that's why in 31 days, the release could be secured. Unlike the previous experience when the trail was already cold before action was taken. So, the lesson will include that eternal vigilance is the price for liberty. Our schools must be secured. In between the abduction and now, a lot has been done in terms of securing schools in the Northeast. The IG has deployed men, the Commandant Civil Defense has deployed men. So our schools must be better secured. And of course, another lesson is that nothing ventured, nothing gained. When the president kept assuring that these girls will be secured, a lot of people were skeptical. But the president followed up with action, and the girls are happily back today.
Yeah, I'll say congratulations there.
Thank you.
Yeah, Femi Adesina, special advisor to the president on media and publicity. It was the cherry news, a cherry moment at the National Secretariat of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in Abuja, as they received the news of the return of the abducted Dapchi schoolgirls. Saliu Abdullahi captured the mood of the people, and he brought back this report.
These are staff and members of the National Working Committee in groups discussing the return of the schoolgirls abducted from Government Girls Science Technical College, Dapchi, by Boko Haram. National Publicity Secretary of the APC, Bolaji Abdullahi, says, though it is not time to celebrate until all those held in captivity by Boko Haram are released, prompt response by the government of Muhammadu Buhari has given hope to the people that Nigeria is no longer a fertile ground for terrorists.
What this government, the Buhari administration, has demonstrated is that wherever security situations happen, like it did in our case, if government is proactive and government is able to respond with alertness and with alacrity, it's still possible to save the situation. So we as a party, we are very proud of what this government has achieved.
He notes that with sharing of information among the public and relevant security agencies, the war against terrorism will be won completely.
Politics should be played within the boundaries of decency. I think it's cruel for anyone to suggest that what happened was some kind of arrangement or conspiracy, because real human beings were involved. And to think that anyone will begin to play politics, can even imagine that anyone will play politics with the lives of innocent young girls, I mean, it's tragic to say the least.
He says APC is confident that various reforms embarked on by the government will improve the capacity and efficiency of security agencies to prevent the kidnap of children by terrorists and diminish their ability to attack soft targets. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
And still remaining with the reactions of the release of the Dapchi schoolgirls, two parents of the schoolgirls who spoke with Adebola Brixlin Sunday have confirmed the release of their children from Boko Haram terrorists.
The release of the girls came barely a week after Defense Minister Mansouda Ali promised on behalf of the federal government that the girls will be released soon. Speaking with some of the parents via telephone, they confirmed the release and that 5 out of the girls lost their lives in the process.
My name is Alajideri, so our daughters are all back.
Okay.
To all my Allah for this blessing day to see our children back with us. We are very much happy, and it's a glad to all of us. My name is Kachanda Bukar.
Okay.
I am the secretary of the parent of the abducted girls of the secondary school. Nigerian Army are not allowing anybody to go to his daughter. But what our chairman tells us that they will take the ladies to Damatru because Mr. President wants to see the girls.
Senior Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, spoke on the complaint by the parents that they were not allowed access to their children.
Nobody is suggesting anything sinister with them, but they must go through security screening. They must go through health screening, as we have done with the Chibok girls. You don't just let them out to the society. No. You don't even know maybe there is infiltration. That's just it is that we have lost 5. It is tragic and it is unfortunate. But the joy side of it is also then that 105 have come back. The tragedy for the country is that politics has gone into this matter, and they were joyful about this thing. Well, I think that they have to look for a strategy if they have to win the next election. They are not going to win election on the basis of Dapchi because we have won back the girls.
Garba Shehu also said the federal government will do all it can to secure the release of the remaining Chibok girls alive. Adebola Brixlin Sunday, NTA News.
Well, the release of the Dapchi schoolgirls has been described as a demonstration of the commitment of the Buhari administration to rescuing the abducted girls. Abdullahi Mohammed reports that this was the position of the Arewa Consultative Forum, as well as other concerned persons who reacted to the development. His report.
It is from a school like this behind me that the 110 Dapchi schoolgirls were kidnapped. Barely weeks into their abduction, the federal government has been able to secure their release. This has gladdened the hearts of many Nigerians, especially the parents of these children. In a swift reaction by the Arewa Consultative Forum, it released a statement commending the federal government.
The exact position of Arewa Consultative Forum is to commend the federal government, the security agent, and the intelligence community on all their effort to bring about the release of the girls. And we commend them.
I want to say kudos to this government. It's a very great achievement. And I appreciate them for that.
I'm very grateful to them, and I want them to keep it up, because that's why we voted them in, to protect us, you know, to give us life, to give us a reason to continue to live.
The Arewa Consultative Forum also charged the federal government to intensify effort and ensure security around schools like these so that this kind of incident will not happen again. In Kaduna, Abdullah Muhammad, NTN News.
Well, it is indeed a thing of joy for many Nigerians across the divide as the news of the release of the abducted girls filtered all over the country. Abdullahi Garba Birninkudu compiled these reactions as sent by NTA's correspondents from across the country.
From neighboring Maiduguri to Yobe State, correspondent Pauline Kujevana reports of jubilant residents who commended the Buhari administration and other stakeholders for the action that led to the release of the girls.
We are happy that they have been released. We thank the federal government. We wouldn't know the intricacies they went through before these girls could be released. But all we are concerned is that they have done well. They have rescued our girls. And we are praying that the remaining girls will also be rescued alive. More especially the outstanding Chibok girls that have been there long time ago.
We have to commend the effort of the federal government, the state, particularly the state government, which I think they have made a lot of effort in contributing towards the release of these Dapchi girls.
I was so excited. I even wept because it is a tears of joy. I think I remember the First Lady, the wife of the President, Aisha Buhari, through her foundation, she said our girls should be brought back home safe and healthy. And
in Benin, Edo State, the residents were also excited, as reported by correspondent Ivy Omori.
To praise the president because he has saved the parents from emotional stress.
I'm so happy that they have been released, because as a mother, if you hear that your child has been kidnapped, you will not be settled in mind.
We thank God for that. It's remaining Chibok girls. The remaining Chibok girls should also be released as well. Tell the government to do more in terms of tackling insecurity and in terms of putting in these schools, putting security.
From Jigawa State, correspondent Habibu Husseini reports that joy and praises to God trailed the news of the release of the Dapchi girls.
A father, isn't it? I have daughters. Somebody's daughter has been abducted there. How is mine? How am I going to feel?
We have to protect their image as well, because we know the value of our children. I am happy because of their fathers or their family, they are happy.
I'm now being joined again in the studio by Farouk Adamu Aliyu. He's a former minority leader in the House of Representatives. You're welcome to our studios.
Thank you very much.
How do you feel about this latest development?
Sign of relief first, okay, and then commendation to all Nigerians actually, and in particular Mr. President, because when he was being castigated for what happened, now I think each and every Nigerian should congratulate Mr. President and indeed the government for this feat, and we hope and pray our remaining children of Chibok will also be rescued.
Well, reactions, you know, trailing the release of these girls have been spontaneous. Now, what does this tell you about the disposition of people to the present administration?
Well, of hope. And certainly, God knows and Nigerian public know that nothing this government does that is intentionally to probably hurt the public. So whatever happens, one, is not due to not wanting to do the right thing, but sometimes, of course, you know, human errors and so on. And honestly, what Nigerians did today, the kind of reaction we received from the public, we thank every Nigerian, we thank God, and we hope this will be the last time anything like this will happen in this country.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a pleasure having you. Farouk Adamu Aliyu, former minority leader in the House of Representatives. Moving on. The international community sympathized with Nigeria when the Dapchi students were abducted. some weeks ago. Now they are joining in celebrating their release. Uche Mwizu has the reactions of some diplomats in Abuja.
The diplomats, in a chat with the NTA News crew, commended the efforts of the federal government in ensuring the safety of the students.
And I really commend the government of Nigeria, to make all this effort to bring them back. As a mother and as a woman, I'm really delighted.
I believe this is the first step and it's a good one. And I really congratulate the government of Nigeria.
I am Uche Mwizu.
Well, 300 primary school teachers are receiving training on security measures and how to overcome trauma among pupils in the insurgency-affected areas of Adamawa State. The Presidential Committee on Northeast, organizers of the training, are collaborating with the University of Technology, Yola. Rayanu Bala tells us more.
11,000 teachers and about 250,000 pupils were affected by the activities of Boko Haram in northern part of Adamawa State. Considering the effects of the attacks on the educational pursuit of the pupils, the Presidential Committee on Northeast Initiative (PCNI), in collaboration with Modibo Adamawa University of Technology, Yola, organized a 5-day workshop to train 300 teachers on how to build confidence and overcome trauma among the pupils. Chairman of the PCNI, General T.Y. Njuma, represented by the Senior Special Assistant to President Buhari on Policy Analysis and Development, Ibrahim Hassan Bapetel, says the workshop will concentrate on trauma counseling and security of schools.
We are going to give them skills on security, and then in the terms of education, the teaching, learning, the teaching environment, and the skills of teaching the students.
The intent that we'll be able to have a peaceful learning and teaching environment at the end of the day, be able to have peace in our schools, and then it will also get into our environment at the end of the day.
Most of the pupils have been devastated with trauma, and we are expecting after this workshop, a lot of mitigative measures will be taken to heal the trauma and improved teaching and learning.
In Yola, Rayanu Bala, NTA News.
Okay, that's about it for now on Dapchi. When we return after the break, we shall be going to other issues, beginning with the Federal Executive Council meeting. Join us again.
On behalf of the government and the good people of Zamfara State, the State Executive Governor and the Chairman Nigeria Governors Forum, His Excellency Alhaji Abdul Aziz Yari Abubakar welcomes Mr. President and the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari GCFR, to a sympathy and condolence visit to Zamfara State on Thursday, the 22nd of March 2018. Your Excellency, we are very much proud of your effort towards tackling security challenges in the country and therefore remain solidly behind you. The Chairman, Local Organizing Committee, Professor Abdullahi Muhammad Shinkafi, wishes Mr. President a fruitful visit. You are most welcome to Zamfara State, where farming is our pride. Sanda Muhammad Danjari Makaman Kotar Koshi, Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Information and Culture, Zamfara State, announcer.
Get 10 times your recharge value to call and browse anyhow. Recharge with *220 star the pin hash to enjoy this offer. Available to new and existing subscribers.
Parental, the smartphone network.
Standards Organization of Nigeria (SON) brings a new lease of life to Nigerian SMEs. SON has put a greater premium on developing standards aimed at improving the exports of the nation's food and cash crops. This explains why we have developed more standards for Nigeria's produce like sesame, cocoa, gari, and more, courtesy our accredited state-of-the-art laboratories. In keeping with the federal government's ease of doing business, SON has simplified its processes and turnaround time for SUNCAP and MANCAP to reduce substandard products and legal arm to prosecute offenders. Join Standards Organization of Nigeria in ridding our nation of substandard goods due to consistent market surveillance and raids. See something, say something. Standards Organization of Nigeria, improving life through standards.
Be sabi and make una plan well.
Know the facts. Modern family planning methods are safe and effective. You and your partner can plan when to have a child.
Talk to your partner. Let them know you support using a modern family planning method.
Go! Get a modern family planning method today. There's a method that is right for you and your partner.
Know, talk, go. Get it together. Get it together for a brighter future.
This Get It Together campaign is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Health.
Know your rights as a consumer. CPC. Consumer Protection Council is here. Protecting your rights, protect your interests.
Do you know every consumer is a king? Oh yes, every consumer has a right to value of money and right to redress. So when next you are not satisfied with any product or service, complain to the seller or service provider. If you are not satisfied with their response, just come to CPC with proof or the necessary documents.
At the CPC, we insist that service providers and producers prioritize consumer protection. As such, we are holding them accountable by ensuring that there are multiple channels by which consumers can file complaints, whether to the service providers, the producers, or the CPC.
Consumer Protection Council is an agency of the federal government of Nigeria charged with the responsibility of protecting consumers' interests. You can call us on our hotlines or send us an email, contact@cpc.gov.ng. CPC, promoting and protecting consumers' interests.
The Vice-Chancellor, Taraba State University, Jalingo, Professor Vincent Ado Tenebe, on behalf of Council, Senate and congregation, invite all graduates of the university from 2013 to 2017 and the public to the maiden convocation ceremony of the university for the award of certificate, diplomas, first degrees, higher degrees, and honorary degrees, and the 10th anniversary celebration of the university. Date 21st to 24th March 2018. Time 9 a.m. daily. Venue Taraba State University Main Campus, Jalingo. Announcer Dr. Joseph Lucas, Registrar.
Do you know that the Nigerian police now operates in the best international practices of policing? Do you know that the Nigerian police has been restructured to be more accountable and responsive to all your security challenges? Now, what the police demand from you is your trust, your collaborative efforts by providing necessary information about criminals and their activities in your neighborhood. Be vigilant to achieve our creed as we promise. We shall police the country based on international core values of policing with integrity. We shall ensure that rule of law prevails in our actions and activities. We shall respect diversity, display courage, show compassion, and demonstrate professionalism. We shall operate within the principle of democratic policing. We shall shun corruption, and we shall make Nigeria safer and secured under the leadership of IGP Ibrahim Otum Idris.
Let the wind of change blowing across the country chase away crime for the benefit of our society. Yes, the Nigerian police says this change must come with peace and tranquility.
This message was brought to you by the Public Relations Department of the Nigerian Police Force.
We're glad to have you join us again on NTA News Extra tonight. And we begin with this segment with the meeting of the Federal Executive Council. President Muhammadu Buhari has given reasons why Nigeria did not go ahead to sign the agreement on Continental Free Trade Area for Africa, saying he will not be a part of anything detrimental to the growth of the nation's economy. The president gave the explanation at Wednesday's meeting of the Federal Executive Council, which gave approval for critical infrastructure projects aimed at enhancing air safety as well as the security of the reconstructed UN building in Abuja. State House correspondent Adam Musambo has more on that.
Representatives of 44 out of the 55 member states of the African Union this Wednesday in Kigali signed the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement aimed at creating one Africa market. Nigeria's decision to pull out of the signing ceremony to allow time for broader consultations has indeed generated mixed reactions from across the country. This Federal Executive Council meeting therefore provided the opportunity for President Muhammadu Buhari to brief members on reasons for the action taken in the nation's interest, as explained by presidential spokesman Femi Adesina.
The explanation from the president, which the FEC brought, was that he would not want to agree to anything that would hinder local entrepreneurs. He also said anything also that could encourage the dumping of finished goods in Nigeria was going to be contrary to our interests. Then he said the country was yet to fully understand the economic and security implications of the agreement.
You know, these are major decisions that affect the economy and affect the lives of Nigerians. And you must be sure when you're signing, and that's, I think, what Mr. President said, that I am signing on behalf of the nation, I'm signing on behalf of the people. So I want to be sure that stakeholders have been carried along appropriately. And I think that's entirely the right response. We're not in a hurry to get things wrong. We need to get things right. And these are fundamental treaties, and I think that that's the right thing to do.
The President therefore approved the constitution of a high-powered committee comprising the Ministers of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Labour and Employment, Foreign Affairs, Science and Technology, as well as representatives of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Central Bank of Nigeria, Immigration and Customs Services to widely consult, review the content of the proposal and report back to Council within 2 weeks. In the meantime, the Council has approved a 6.9 billion naira contract for the provision of security equipment for the UN building in Abuja being reconstructed by the federal government after the 2011 bomb blast that affected the edifice.
The UN at the highest level contacted the government of Nigeria and requested that some very critical security infrastructure needed to be put up in that building to enable the approximately 18 agencies of the UN that are presently housed in many buildings across Abuja so that they can all locate to the building.
Also approved is a 1.1 billion naira contract for the procurement and installation of radio equipment for 14 airports across the country.
This radio is needed for communications between pilots and the towers and is an important tool for safety. And this is a very big relief for the industry.
On her part, Finance Minister Kemi Adeosun briefed the Council on the level of implementation of the 28 approvals granted her ministry so far under the Buhari presidency. She explained that over 500 ministries, departments and agencies have now been captured under the IPPIS, 68 billion naira saved on personnel costs and over 1.2 trillion naira released for capital expenditure under the 2017 budget.
Our commitment to infrastructure spending remains very, very strong. We believe that is what is going to drive growth in our economy. That's what's going to drive jobs. And we are starting to see the impact of the economic policy that we've pursued in terms of growth. And we expect that now to be accelerated.
Whistleblower policy, the minister said, has now come to stay as 7.8 billion naira, $378 million and 27,800 pounds have so far been recovered. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
He has been eulogized within and outside the National Assembly ever since his shocking death last Saturday morning. And, fittingly, the official valedictory session for late Senator who represented Bauchi South, Ali Wakili, was the only item on the agenda at Wednesday's Senate plenary. Here is National Assembly correspondent Dennis Adeguloye with details of an emotion-filled tribute session for the late senator.
Well, the mood was understandably one of continued sober reflection on the life of a man many legislators describe as a friend and brother, and many of the senators poured encomiums on late senator who represented Bauchi South, Senator Ali Wakili.
He celebrated friendship. He was a faithful devotee to the cult of humanity. His love for fellow human beings was extraordinary.
Evil men do lives after them, but the goods are often interred with their bones. But it's not the same with Senator Wakili. His goods have refused to be interred with his bones.
I pray to God Almighty on behalf of the people of the FCT for God Almighty to grant all of us the fortitude to bear this irreparable loss, because he was a jolly good fella and he was very close to all of us here, irrespective of party divide, irrespective of age and whatever it is.
Last week, he actually was going
from room to room, approaching people. When I look to my left, you would all agree with me that Senator Ali Wakili's seat is the seat, empty seat next to you whenever he finds one.
We should use this opportunity to see what we can do to set up a foundation so that when things happen, the kids of the senators are being taken care of.
We must learn that we have a role to play and we must give our best, because at the end of the day, death will come. Surely it will come. And Ali Wakili was a good, sterling example to what you should be when you are serving your people.
Due to time constraints, some were unable to pay tribute on the floor but were able to make brief comments about the man they knew to newsmen.
Ali Wakili met his time. I'm happy to say that Ali Wakili, his relationship with everybody was very cordial.
Meanwhile, the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, John Odigi Oyegun, and the National Working Committee of the party have paid a condolence visit to the Senate APC caucus over the passing of Senator Ali Wakili. Further interactions on strategizing on the approach to the critical months ahead of the 2019 general elections were held behind closed doors.
The reality that we have an election in less than a year, 11 months, 10 months if you want to be economical, and we have interests that bind us together.
From the National Assembly, Dennis Adegunloye, NTA News.
We take a look at the political scene now. Countdown to 2019 general elections. With less than 10 months to the elections, do you have your permanent voter card? Are you aware that the electoral umpire, INEC, is rounding off the first round of the continuous voter registration? Now, this may serve as a reminder to all eligible Nigerians, as political correspondent Abdullahi Garba Birnikudu in this next report reviews the voter registration and the distribution of the permanent voter cards so far.
I don't have, sir.
Why?
Just like that.
You don't want to vote some months the election?
Yes.
Why?
Just like that, based on to me.
That is my freedom. Yes, it's my liberty.
Voter's card?
Yes.
Okay. When did you register?
I registered in 2012.
Okay. This represents divergent views of Nigerians. While some have got the voter's card, some are reluctant to go and get the voter cards. And many are not even interested in the voting process.
According to INEC itinerary, the first quarter of the continuous voters registration will end in the next 1 week to allow for data computation, updating of voters register, and display for possible objections and corrections as part of the Electoral Act requirements.
Is for 3 categories of Nigerians. First, those who have just turned 18 years. The number 2, those who have never registered before, and those who have TVCs but their names not on the register of voters.
This necessitated my visit to one of the registration centers, where both registration and distribution are ongoing simultaneously.
Well, you can see that the process is being fast-tracked. There is no struggling, everything is in an orderly manner.
Reports across the country indicate a surge of people for the registration, although there are complaints of confusion in locating centers of registration and distance.
The arrangement is like here now is Amak, the municipal. But you know, some people come from Buhari, like places like Duse is under Buhari. And then some people come from Nasarawa. So when those people come, because we have to fix people according to where they live, so they can be able to walk to their polling units on election day.
We started initially at our local government offices in each of the 774 local government offices nationwide. But later, in response to appeal by Nigerians, we created additional centers. And following appeal again by Nigerians, we created more centers, such that as of today, we have 1,446 centers
The slow response is on the collection of the permanent voter cards, with about 7 million lying uncollected nationwide, which many attribute to lack of awareness and the usual fire brigade approach by Nigerians to issues.
So more voter and civic education should go on.
National Orientation Agency should be given more opportunity and open up the door of enlightening Nigerians.
INEC has promised that all registered voters will get their PBCs before the general election in February, as it plans to kick off the second round of voters registration in April. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Kudu, NTA News.
In the meantime, Nigerians have been assured that only their votes will count in the year 2019 elections. The chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, gave the assurance when he visited the Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad. Adebola Brooksland Sunday was there and now reports.
With about 331 days to the scheduled 2019 general election, chairman and management team of the commission were in NTA as the starting point of its media engagement on voter education.
To activate what we call the NICVEP, the National Interagency Committee on Voter Education and Publicity, for which the NTA, other media organizations, the Newspaper Proprietors Association of Nigeria and others will be involved. We display the voter register for claims and objections. The idea is that citizens should help the commission to also tidy up and interrogate the register. And for the first quarter of the exercise for this year, 2018, we are going to display the register from the 26th to the 30th of this month in all the registration centers nationwide. As far as the commission is concerned, all political parties have equal standing with the commission.
The NTA Director General said NTA will ride on the display of political parties' manifesto on INEC websites to help Nigerians make informed choices.
Once we have these manifestos, we'll be able to know what each political party stands for, and we'll be able to question and take them to task on the issues contained in their manifestos, rather than on the personalities around which the parties are built.
So far, about 6.3 million Nigerians have been included in the ongoing voter register. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
And officials and stakeholders of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in Adamawa State are optimistic in the capacity of the party to consolidate on the electoral fortunes of the party. Their optimism is induced by the influx of new members defecting to the party from other parties, many of them renowned dogged politicians. Mejaba Ademu reports that the entry of a former federal legislator, philanthropist, and women and youth activist, Aisha Dahiru Ahmed, has particularly elated the APC family in that state.
With the release of the 2019 election schedules by the Independent National Electoral Commission, political activities aimed at testosterone the popularity of political parties and their prospective aspirants to various elective posts have commenced in the state. The All Progressive Congress is particularly witnessing influx of new members who foresee brighter political future in the APC than in their previous parties. The growing tempo of political strategizing and realignments across APC offices in Adamawa State are, according to officials of the party, testimonies of growing popularity of the party predicated upon its broad-based and far-reaching policies and programs that have so far recouped the hope of the common man in governance. The entry of Aisha Dahiru Ahmed Binani into the APC alongside thousands of her supporters is particularly seen by the APC family as great value addition in view of her numerous philanthropic interventions in the state and the assertive representation she gave while in the Federal House of Representatives between 2011 to 2015.
Because of her performance and sympathy to the downtrodden, and also her performance when she was elected House of Representatives, she became a household name, particularly among women and youth, and they are the backbone of every political party.
Her coming on board with the crowd of her supporters has further brightened the hope of the APC by enjoying all well-meaning politicians in the state to take a cue from her.
On her part, Aisha Binani says she is now at home.
The party in Adama is solid and firmly on ground.
In Ola, Maijama Adamu, NTA News.
The Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, has stressed the need for the people of the Southeast to have a rethink on their emotional disposition as regards political developments in the country. The minister stated this at the 12th Nnamdi Azikiwe University Convocation Lecture in Awka, Anambra State. He said the Igbos must learn to eschew petty jealousies and undue hatred, which has continued to degrade the whole Igbo kingdom. He advised that Igbos should unite and identify with the people who have the interests of their welfare and well-being at heart. Mr. Rotimi Amechi said President Muhammadu Buhari has identified with the Igbos as evidenced on the number of projects cited in the Southeast.
The civil war is over. Two of us, can we please move forward?
It is in a bid to improve tertiary education in the country that government in 2011 established the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TED Fund, with the mandate of providing financial assistance to institutions of higher learning. Well, it's 7 years after the House of Representatives has begun the amendment of the Act, which seeks, among other issues, to subject the annual budget of TED Fund to National Assembly approval. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Onkwo has the details.
Tertiary Education Trust Fund is one of the intervention platforms in Nigeria's education sector. To further enhance its operations and avoid abuse, members of the House of Representatives are now considering a bill seeking to provide additional conditions for accessing funds for capital projects by beneficiary institutions and for its annual budget to be subjected to National Assembly approval. The bill, sponsored by Representative Abbas Tajuddin and 2 other members, has been passed for second reading.
It is our responsibility as a parliament to continue to position it in such a way that it keeps faith with its own statutory objectives.
The amendment here, from my own perspective, is to ensure efficiency and effectiveness of the TED Fund in realizing its objectives for which it was established.
The bill for the establishment of Federal University Gusau in Zamfara State, sponsored by Representative Lawal Muazu from the state, was also passed for second reading. Representative Mohammed Mungunu from Borno State moved the motion on the need to extend the payment of occupational hazard allowance to agricultural professionals in the civil and public service of the Federation.
Snake bite, attack by armed robbers, a lot of other hazards they are being exposed to in the course of discharging these duties.
The House resolved to also investigate the activities of the Presidential Amnesty Office as moved in a motion by Representative Chika Adamu from Niger State. Representative Emmanuel Egu and Sergius Ogun also moved the motion for security agencies to address in-season cases of gunmen attack in Kogi and Edo State. The motion for the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to provide relief materials to over 200 persons displaced by flood in Abi communities, Delta State, was moved by Representative Osai Nicholas Osai. Another one by Representative Ayo Omiduron for the Table Tennis Federation of Nigeria and the Ministry of Sports to include qualified female table tennis players in the 2018 Commonwealth Games were adopted. 20 bills were passed for first reading, including the Nigeria Peace Corps bill, which the President declined assent to recently. What this implies is that the bill will have to be reintroduced in the floor again, and then the whole of the processes the bill had already gone through, the same bill will still undergo that same process. That is first reading, second reading, and in most cases, these kind of bills are not subjected to public hearing, but it must have to undergo through the Committee of the Whole, third reading, and then a clean copy retransmitted to the president. And at this point in time, it's either the president append his signature or also decline. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Tax administrators from the West African sub-region have converged on Abuja, Nigeria's capital city, to brainstorm on ways of improving the region's tax to GDP ratio. Vivian Idepefo reports that the two-day conference has harnessing national resources for improved tax revenue as its theme.
The evolving nature of business processes and structure, borderless trade and commerce heightened by e-commerce, hybrid of financial instruments coupled with increased sophistication and ingenuity of the army of tax advisors are some of the hurdles faced by tax administrators across the globe. The 13th General Assembly of West African Tax Administrators Forum, WATAF, therefore provides the platform for key players in taxation in the sub-region to forge an alliance and re-strategize on viable means of checkmating tax abuses and evasion among taxpayers. Babatunde Fowler is the chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service and African Tax Administrators Forum, ATAF. He shares with the delegates efforts made in the last 2 years by the Nigerian government that attracted 4 million more taxpayers and an increase in revenue in 2017.
In Nigeria, to enhance taxpayers' compliance, we have rolled out various electronic web-based taxpayer services to make it easier for taxpayers to register, file tax returns, stamp duty their documents, and pay various taxes, obtain tax receipts and taxpayer certificates, all without having to visit the tax office.
In line with the Vienna Convention, WATAF joins the ranks of similar organizations focused on international collaboration in tax matters, having attained the statutory requirements spelled out in the WATAF agreement, which provides for at least 5 countries' ratifications for the agreement to come into force. In Abuja, Vivian Idepefo, NTA News.
Up next, it's business news and related stories. Join us again.
How many locations competition is in? Who knows? 6 in Lagos, 8 in Abuja, and opening another in about next week. Who's the guy?
No, man. Moses was at Chelsea. Then he went to Liverpool. But before that, he was at
Crystal Palace 2007. Joined Chelsea 2012. 42 career goals.
This coffee is nice. I wonder where it's from.
This blend is actually from Brazil. However, coffee originated in Ethiopia in the 13th century.
Wow.
Connect from any network with Glow MiFi. Share and enjoy 4G data speeds on any 2G or 3G device. Get a Glow 4G MiFi 16 gigabytes of data for only 16,000 naira.
Flavor.
Real name is Chinedu Okoli, born 1983.
Chinedu.
The largest data network, Glow, grandmasters of data.
All TVs say picture quality, but never mention the most important color, black. It uncovers the hidden details of nature, brings out the richness in all colors, and reveals life. With self-lighting pixels, only OLED TVs make perfect black, and perfect black creates perfect color. LG OLED TV.
Who wants to answer? Mary?
Mary has a toothache.
Oh, I see. And who knows why?
Because the tooth is too big.
No, it might be a hole in her tooth called a cavity.
That's why I brush twice a day using Colgate. Imagine this is your tooth and these are food acids that cause cavities. Colgate with calcium and fluoride helps prevent cavities for maximum cavity protection.
And now available in a fresh new Icy Mint gel.
Wow.
The Federal Character Commission, in collaboration with Abuja Global Consult Limited, cordially invites stakeholders and participants, members of the National Assembly, heads of civil service of the Federation and the 36 states, heads and CEOs of federal government MDAs, chairman of Federal Civil Service Commission and chairman of the 36 state civil service commissions to its National Stakeholders Seminar, Abuja 2018. Theme: Inspecting and monitoring strategic processes in recruitment and nationalized spread of staff in MDAs. Date: Thursday, 22nd March 2018. Time: 10 a.m. prompt. Venue: Merit House, adjacent NUC, Aguirre Street, Maitama, Abuja. Special guest of honor: Boss G. Mustafa, Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Chairman of the occasion: Senator Tijani Gaura. Chairman, Senate Committee on Federal Character. Co-chairman of the occasion: Honorable Idris Ahmed Wasi. Chairman, House Committee on Federal Character. Host: Dr. Shatima Bukar Abba, Acting Executive Chairman, Federal Character Commission. Chief Host: Muhammad Musa Bello, Honorable Minister, FCT. Mohammed Bello Tukur, Secretary to the Commission. Announcer.
We want to buy Indomie noodles. 4 packs, please.
Yawa.
This is not my Indomie. Please, sir, it's not Indomie. Don't call it Indomie.
Sir, the taste is the difference. The difference is in the taste. That's why my brothers, my mommy, my daddy, and I all enjoy our delicious, so very delicious Indomie noodles. The difference is the taste.
If you're just joining us, you're on to NTA News Extra on the network service of the NTA. Stakeholders laud federal government initiative on withdrawing its signature from the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement as Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, introduces non-oil export stimulation facility. Let's now join Abolade Salami for the details on our business news segment.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on the business news segment. The decision by President Muhammadu Buhari to withdraw its signature from the framework of agreement for the establishment of the African Free Trade Area in order to accommodate more time for adequate consultations among relevant stakeholders has been described as a welcome development. Stakeholders who spoke with NTA Business News said the decision reflects federal government's commitment to the growth of the manufacturing sector. They submitted to the fact that though Continental Free Trade Area could improve intra-African trade and enhance economic growth and sustainable development, the nation's interests must be prioritized.
Government should, as a matter of urgency, convene a special meeting of the relevant stakeholders, including experts on trade policy. Set in motion a process that will enable all stakeholders on the international trade value chain in Nigeria to quickly review the text of the draft AFCFTA agreement and come up with comments on areas that are not in the best interest of the Nigerian economy and sectors. 2.
The recent rating of the National Electricity Regulatory Commission on the performance of electricity distribution companies has been described as an exercise that could improve electricity distribution in the country for the desired socio-economic development. The Chief Executive Officer, Ecodisco, Adeoye Fadeibi, says the rating could also promote healthy rivalry among electricity distribution companies for the benefit of Nigerians. It speaks on the factors responsible.
The KPIs set have been very clear, so the mandate by the board has been very clear. It's revolved around the same things that one Ecodisco business would look at. It's really around reducing, one, your ATC and C losses, right? Technical, commercial, and collection losses. Customer satisfaction, so where you start to see a lot of things that will reflect around your response rates. Having your billing and collection efficiencies, being right. Being able to invest within strategic areas within the network to ensure that we increase the frequency of supply and the quality of supply. All those parameters then put together, then an aggregate, and then you come out as number one disco in the country at the end of that. We're delighted to have been rated as that.
The Central Bank of Nigeria has introduced the non-oil export stimulation facility to engender growth in the non-oil sector of the economy and foreign reserves acceleration. The facility, the Apex Bank says, is geared towards diversifying the nation's reserve base and to accelerate growth and development of the non-oil export sector. The non-oil export stimulation facility, CBN added, will help improve access of exporters to concessionary finance so as to expand and diversify the non-oil export window. And now let's see how stocks were traded on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange today.
At the close of midweek trading, the all-share index depreciated by 0.46% to close at 41,495.43 basis points, with a volume of shares which finished at 488 million shares, valued at 5.6 billion naira, which exchanged hands in 5,524 deals in a market capitalization of 14.8 trillion naira. Gainers with 4 naira 8 kobo gain led the table to close at 100 naira 2 kobo per share, followed by GlaxoSmith, which appreciated by 1 naira 5 kobo, while Nestle with 30 naira loss led the losers table, followed by WAPCO, which depreciated by 3 naira 3 kobo per share.
You're welcome back, and still talking business. The 2018 Ogun State Investors Forum has ended with a renewed call on prospective investors to take advantage of the conducive industrial climate in that state. Now, this is part of the fallout of the forum as Lekon Agbonde takes a look at the quest for accelerated growth by the state government.
The 2018 Investors Forum, the fourth in the series, serves as platform for extraying the gains of the previous fora. Key players in global economy, captains of industry and investors who gathered at the event acknowledged the positive trend of events the state has experienced in the last 7 years.
Apart from giant steps in the areas of security and infrastructure, the biennial event, Ogun State Investors Forum, is one of the strategies to propel the state's economy using agriculture, industry and technology as main drivers.
Government attracted investments through its friendly policy, which engendered positive change.
Perhaps an example of the validity of the claim that Ogun State can say that it is the industrial hub of Nigeria at this point in time.
For my company, for many companies, and for Ogun State, and really for Nigeria, that efforts made by this government has encouraged foreign investment.
Talking about the gains, it is expressed through the transformation. We saw the state moving from 35th position to 5th in the World Bank rating.
Between 2012 and 2014, 64.25% of foreign direct investment came into Ogun State. But the success story about 2016 is that out of those things, 75% of foreign direct investment that came into the country in manufacturing came to Ogun State too.
Been able to harmonize our tax and levies, and that has given investors confidence to come to our state because we've been able to eradicate multiplicity of taxes.
Government has indicated intention to continue to leverage on the positives which the forum has brought to the economy of the state, looking forward to realization of the expected growth. In addition to massive infrastructural development ongoing, the relationship between the government and the investors has encouraged public-private partnership that has engendered unprecedented economic development to the envy of other states of the Federation. In Abeokuta, Lekon Agbonde, NTA News.
Well, ever dreamed of spending a night in a top-notch hotel and still feel at home? Well, your dream is sure coming true, as one of Nigeria's fastest-growing hotels, Bon Maitama, opens in Abuja. Oyinnaya Kalu Oka takes us into the world of splendid hospitality.
An imposing architectural piece with a perfect touch of class, the four-star hotel is positioned to offer a superior hospitality experience with comfortable lodging.
Our culture is unique and different.
Definitely in terms of service, I think we're right up there.
Formerly known as Protea Hotels and now born after its refurbishment, the hotel is set to provide a first-class treatment to its guests.
The need is for decent quality accommodation in Nigeria throughout the full 36 states that exist.
A growing economy needs accommodation. So therefore we are expanding and we've got many more hotels to come.
With the construction of Bon Hotel's Maitama residence set to be completed soon, the hotel management says it will change the face of hospitality industry in Abuja.
When you stay in a single room, after a while you get tired of being in a tight space. But over there, it would be like an apartment. So it's like being in your home.
The Dewdrop Institute Hospitality Management School, a joint legacy project with Bon Hotels, was also launched.
There are so many people that are dependent on tourism in this country, and it's what the government has asked us for.
Establish hotel schools that are top grade.
With 18 years experience as Pro-tier hotels in Nigeria, 2 years as Bon Hotels in the last 24 months have established 25 hotels in 15 cities in the country. Oyinne Akalu Oka, NTA News.
Now let's take another break. When we return, we will be talking about this year's UTME and matters arising. Stay tuned.
Everybody dance now. What? Louder. We are the strongest. No challenge can stop us. Oh Lord, and we are the brightest. No darkness can blind us. We are the strongest.
Let Malta goodness fuel your greatness. Let's go. The winning energy and great Milo taste, now ready to go. Milo! The winning energy and great Milo taste, now ready to go. Milo! The winning energy and great Milo taste, now ready to go. Milo!
Shop, 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 shop. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce. Shop, shop, shop. Let's go, yeah.
Hollandia Chukumov, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, thinking. Shop, shop, oh yeah. Meeting. Here we go. Shop, 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 shop. Working. That's right. Shop, shop, yeah. Oh yeah. Playing. Yeah. Shop, 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 shop. Conversation. Shop, 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 shop. Here we go. Milk, chocolate, malt, prepared mix ready to drink. Hollandia Chocomo. Shop, shop, nutritious drink every day. Drink it up. I want it. Shop, shop. Drink it up. We want it. Shop, shop. Drink it up. Everybody want it. Shop, shop. Let's go. Let's drink it up.
Hollandia Chocomo, oh yeah.
Shop, shop, nutritious drink. Yeah.
Our Anchor Borers program has created an agricultural revolution. In September 2015, we imported 644,000 tons of rice, costing more than $5 million per day. By September 2017, rice imports dropped by 95% to 22,000 tons. Our maize crop has exceeded 10 million tons this year, and through our rice and maize program, we now have 12.2 million farmers. We are now the world's second largest producer of sorghum after the United States, third in millet after India, and we lead the world's production of yam and cassava. We've created numerous plantations solely for the export market, and our plan is to increase the agricultural sector from 25 to 49% of our GDP, thereby reducing poverty and increasing food security.
It's good to know you're out there watching. Now, ever since the switch over to the computer-based test for the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, the process has been undergoing modification day in, day out to perfect the examination. Now, for this year, the examination is about to be concluded with only the foreign-based candidates component remaining. Feelers on the ground indicate that the process is getting freer and fairer. Rashidat Mustafa Olagunju gives us an overview of the 2018 UTME examination with over 80% of the results already released.
Right from start, the exercise witnessed a series of innovations to promote, enhance quality of the examination, curb examination malpractices, and improve efficient service delivery. The issue of multiple registration was also reduced by about 3.2%.
The board will continue to keep pace with the rapid changes in technology and candidates' behavior by either innovating new solutions or improving on existing capacity in order to sustain its credibility. It is important to continue to find ways to address the many inventions of candidates who are determined to circumvent the system. Our utmost ambition is to sanitize the system from any infraction, and we will not hesitate to deal decisively with anybody trying to cheat the candidates or the system.
The conduct of the examination itself was also described by candidates as peaceful and orderly, with proper monitoring by supervisors, monitors, and individuals.
It's an upgraded system and it's very convenient. Everything was clear. There was no misconception, nothing to misunderstand.
The exam is going normal and peaceful. I enjoyed the program and the arrangement and the organization of everything.
So far, the board has released over 1.5 million results out of over 1.6 million.
If it takes us 1, 2, 3 days to look at those things, we would look at them before we release the results, so as to minimize the number of cancellations that we will do.
Foreign candidates are expected to sit for the examination in April. Rashidat Mustafa Olawunju, NTA News.
It may not attract public attention like other issues such as insecurity and disaster, but it fuels most of the crisis in Nigeria. Yes, the depleted level of forest reserve. So, as nations observe the World Forest Day, Mie Ogidi takes a closer look at the underlying issues that contribute to the shredding of forest reserves to just 5% and what needs to be done.
About 100 million out of the 180 million population in Nigeria reside in the rural areas without modern-day facilities, including electricity and cooking appliances. The last resort is therefore firewood. This was attested to by 84-year-old Madam Musa in a settlement in Jabi, Abuja, Nigeria's capital, as she solely relies on firewood and also sells to others. The disadvantages of deforestation are not known to her.
Okay, she said that the wood is very easy for her to cook her food.
We have coal, we have gas, we have kerosene, but how affordable to the people? At what costs?
Activities such as these have posed serious threat to the biodiversity, as the forest reserve presently stands at just 5% as against the 25% UN standard. This comes with climate change-induced challenges like low agricultural yield, change in weather patterns, and scramble for green vegetation between pastoralists and farmers. Expectedly, both international bodies and the Nigerian government are worried. To stem the tide, the World Bank in 2012 set up the Nigerian Office of Reducing Emission from Deforestation and Forest Degradation, the RED program, with Cross River State as demonstration.
We want to put investment to counter those things that are making pressure. Illegal wood logging, there is a moratorium on forest law that need to be reviewed, then massive reforestation and enrichment planting. Thirdly is that we equally want to find livelihood options that would take away pressure from the forest.
The federal government of Nigeria, on the other hand, is also not resting on its hairs as a policy now incorporates all the states of the federation to address the challenges of deforestation.
We're looking at the trust fund which we are about to establish
And in this, we want forest models across the states of the Federation. If we take about 50 hectares from each state, chances are that we are going to have about roughly 2,000 hectares.
The relevant agencies have given a 10 years target to achieve a remarkable improvement in regenerating the lost forest of the country. Mie Ogide, NTA News.
A report just reaching us says the freed Dapchi schoolgirls have been formally handed over to the federal government. The theatre commander, Operation Lafia Dole, Major General Rogers Nicholas, handed over the girls and one boy to the 4-member federal government delegation at the Air Force Base, Maiduguri. The 104 girls were classified in their different class grades.
This one's here, there's 2 students. Yes, 2. And then behind them, there's 1 student. There's 1 student.
This boy was identified to have been abducted in the school premises while hawking pure water. And this other girl is not a student. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed said a proper scrutiny of the school list made available to the federal government will be done with a view to coming up with a true situation of the girls.
And then check against, those who have been returned.
Anthony Fossey reports that the girls have since been flown to Abuja. More on the handover of the girls to the federal government will be coming to you in our subsequent bulletins. President Muhammadu Buhari has felicitated with the chairman of Hares Holding, Tony Elumelu, on his 55th birthday, which comes up Thursday, the 22nd of March, 2018. In a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, President Buhari said the entrepreneurs' pace-setting antecedents have continued to inspire both young and old on the power of ideas, big dreams, and hard work. We'll be taking another short break. News Extra continues in just a moment. Stay with us.
3,346 medals are up for grabs at the first National Grassroots Sports Festival, Sports for All, to discover sports talent, develop future world champions, and rejuvenate sports in Nigeria. Date 19th to 29th of April 2018. Venue, National Stadium Abuja, packages A and B. This is an opportunity for state governors to promote their achievements and for companies to promote their brand with 24 individual and team sports. For broadcast sponsorship, contact Angelo Peter I. Elosia, Chairman and Chief Coordinator, or Nick Onyisi. Organizers, Grassroots International Sports Academy and LOP Worldwide Television. Endorsed by the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport Development. Broadcast partner, NTA, the largest television network in Africa.
Welcome back. The Director General of the National Council for Arts and Culture, Segun Renshewe, has launched the agency's cultural approach towards supporting the Super Eagles at the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia. Ayodeji Makinde has that report.
Sounds by members of the Nigeria Football Supporters Club have for long added extra ginger to the performance of the country's national teams. Little wonder why this unique beat was loud at the headquarters of the National Council for Arts and Culture in Abuja for the launch of culture-friendly supporters of the Super Eagles. Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture, Segun Renshewe, highlighted the inextricable linkage between sports and culture.
I believe that today we want to make history and want to start something new for our great country.
Chairman of the occasion and football legend Segun Odegbami calls for more presence of Nigeria's cultural heritage in all camps of the Super Eagles at the 2018 FIFA World Cup.
The biggest single event in the world is the World Cup. We must use it to promote we Nigerians.
Then came the moment as the Director General NCAC Segun Rushewe and Mr. Speaker on NTA Network show Sports Parliament Segun Odegbami unveiled two instruments, Pito and Shaworo, to be adopted by cultural-friendly supporters of Nigeria going to the World Cup. In Abuja, I'm Ayodeji Makinde.
And now a quick check on the weather forecast for tomorrow, Thursday.
Of the country with localized thunderstorms over Port Harcourt, Ekiti, and Oyo. Mabila Plateau will have prospects of localized thunderstorms as well. From central up to the northwest of the country will be partly cloudy to cloudy condition. The northeast will be dry, sunny, and clear skies in the morning. Moving into the afternoon and evening hours, the bulk of activities will be from central down to the coastal cities of southeast, southwest, and part of Yelwa will have localized thunderstorms as well. I'll leave you with temperature details across some selected cities.
Well, that's how it has been on News Extra this week. It was a real pleasure bringing it to you. Why don't you join us again, same time, same station next week, as we hope to be here with another interesting package of the program. Until then, on behalf of all of us, thank you for watching and have a pleasant night rest.